Area one love. Welcome back again to Bod TV, but where they analyzed all the trends that they happen, man. I bring on good news though. The good news that we say, hey, finally INEC don't debunk some kind story where we say, man, that they test more picky make you believe. First of all, Festus Okoye can run come out, because say they don't see him say, the EU, body come talk say, man, the election, you're good. You're rich, they know you're trying. Why be now Festus Okoye come out, they talk on certain things where be say it don't dey Nigeria mind for them to iron out. And then you can talk, say, we delivered documents, we gave her this, we gave her that. See lawyers that they lie. Say after the old proceeding for court or come out, they talk different things. They give the tribunal say on a lie, and we say they tell the journalist on a lie. Hey, my people. Hey, God. The thing don't they hurt them. But the thing will be say everybody they ask, where INEC chairman they for inside all these things? Why be say INEC chairman never come out, come take interview? Why be say na Festus Okoye and they come and make they talk rubbish for channel TV? Come they talk rubbish. The guy on the near rubbish. When that's not my word though, I want give them exactly as it talk come. He said we provided all documents to the parties involved. He said the lawyers were not sincere in what they were telling the press. Okay, INEC chairman did not come because it was not necessary. Hey, INEC chairman did not come to court because it was not necessary, because all what is needed was provided. All the document was provided. So because of that, INEC chairman ignored Nigeria because it's too big. It's too big now. Money don't too big. We don't chop. So that money now they scatter a head on your zawo. No matter here, you know, come no saying supposed come court, come defend the lie when you lie. My people, wanna watch this video to the end because I never finish. Evidence why I bring can't give una. It show us say. This government saying, they don't plan this thing. Even before Buhari finish his tenure, they don't draft all this thing for grant. Because it talks say lawyers were only dramatizing. He said lawyers were only dramatizing outside the courtroom. I got the intro now. The main words we be saying he did these videos where I want to show now. The main words now, the hints they give now. He said lawyers were only dramatizing outside the courtroom. He said, how many have you uploaded? When the journalist asked him, say when she asked him, say how many they don't upload so far, because we yesterday say they upload. You don't see the man talk. Festus Okoye talk. He said you don't know. INEC commissioner. He said he don't know. He said he don't know how many they don't upload. Presido. Tinubu. Una sister, people like that, they're supposed to suspend. He don't know how many they don't upload. Okay. Una Holland, they never finish you. He said, why did it take this question? So he said, why did it take INEC so long to upload the results? He said, you know what I don't know this person. Call you talk. He said, please, I don't want to go into that. You INEC chairman, I be commissioner, or INEC chairman. Because now, INEC chairman, I say, I come make talk now. He said, you don't know. Hey, okay. All I never finish you. He said, if you drag me into technology issues, I will get lost. Okay, since I don't know anything about technology, then why did you people bring the beaver system? If you understand nothing about technology, why did you bring the beaver system? Hey. Now they can ask them, say, was it human error or machine error? The guy begin to zoom. Oh no, I tell rubbish. Oh no, you know the craze. Hey. Nice, yes. Let the journalist ask him, say, is it human error or machine error? Hey, he can't talk. I papa te bona. I and mama te meet. I papa te leave mama. They can't say they survive. The man they talk rubbish. You know what? They talk nonsense. Hey God, when I see people who will entrust money give, who will entrust our electoral system give. When I never finish. I never finish. When I just hold on there. He couldn't make example with aeroplane. As stupid as that man is, that Festus Okoye. as senseless as he is. Because they make example with aeroplane. Say in the whether in the flight, I be wife they flight, I be girlfriend they flight one day. Now so the contact say there are some glitches in the flight. So because of that, whether the flight is going to delay or is going to hang on the air. Because they want to give example. Say even flight safe, if they get glitches. So the guy gonna talk rubbish. So this is an electoral system. They've spent a lot of money. They've planned. They prepared for so long for. And he was using it to compare something else. He was using it to compare something else. My people, hey. Something we be saying not even relate to waiting with they talk. They talk about aeroplane. And now so the pilot of talk say, simple question where they ask you. Simple question, you nothing answer. You are ashamed to Nigeria, Professor Sokoye. Then they can't ask so many other questions. I'm going to play the video from the beginning to the end so that you now get the main gist of the whole thing. But I just want to give you now the hint of everything. Then they can't answer and say, they talk or EU body talk said INEC wasn't transparent. Is it true or is it false? Was INEC not transparent? Hey, see the guy begin to stammer. You know, these people, they were generalizing. Even like INEC wasn't transparent. The man, he just begin to talk nonsense. Simple question. Was INEC transparent? He just they talk rubbish. It's a shame. He said we should look at the performance. Make them look the performance of INEC. He said he happy say even the EU body even recognize say in a democratic system like Nigeria, where be say a lot of things they happen for the background. So there's tendency. Say one or two things go happen. He says so INEC, for in your view, INEC try for their performance. This video that was going around about Tinubu with the entourage and all people will be saying they go along. They carry cars, they park cars. But I remember one thing where Obi talking. He said if they go meeting, if you see him say all the people in one park follow body, they don't make sense. They don't go add value to waiting one go do. Make them sit down for us. Only in one go where they go. Of yes. So why do you need that? Can you imagine as Dr. Bati Tokam, he say small big man, whether small big man, they go get their own entourage. President go get, governor go get, common councillor go get, common area boys go get. So that word then when they talk say they use 120 cars say parade, you know, as they are whatever what they call them. In fact, to me, I feel say they will reduce the number because we were expecting more. The kind of government will enter. So even before when they do in manifesto and all those things, they would they enter around there. The cars when they park follow Tinubu not be here, and those people will be on payroll. Abi they will pay them all. They will fill those tank. And the cars won't be small cars, or they were every car millions of naira. These are your tax, these are my tax, my people. Ha! Now Obi come out, Obi talk say, this is the thing we be saying they talk about. Before you begin to talk, so you want repair country, repair yourself. Repair yourself. No waiting you won't give the people. Live as an example. Talk say as a governor, as a president, I am entitled to just one car. I want to use only one car. At least maximum 2, 3. By so doing, all other governors go take after you. Then from there, the thing will go to the grassroots. No, because they use, you know, a convoy. What do you expect from your other senators and other? They'll use the same thing. But one thing, where we say, I feel they will never forget in their life. They meet their match. Obi is a slow killer. I believe, say, Obi go deal with them one after the other. He not get as it be. Now disgrace now go follow all of them one by one. My people say na Bod TV area Eluna. Food chest. Now do well. This one a Bod TV board where they analyze all the trends and everything where they happen in one video will bring and come together, make the thing make sense. I people don't forget to share this video, like and subscribe. Your comments is well appreciated. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
INEC had said a few days ago that it will commence a process of internal appraisal or review of the 2023 election and what they did and what went wrong, involving all stakeholders to look at what was done, and the fact that this is a standard procedure since 2011. Now, the European Union had come out about a day or two afterwards and said, INEC need to focus on a few things, and the electoral process in Nigeria need to be reviewed in certain ways. They drew out the nation's attention to 6 areas. Some people said these are not new, but coming from the European Union, what is INEC doing about this? Let's listen to the Commission tonight. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Okoye, for joining us. Did INEC go into a shell? Was INEC hiding from the public, or what exactly went wrong?
No, we were not hiding. We were engaged in other processes relating to the election. As you are aware, in November, we are going to have 3 governorship elections, one in Bayelsa, one in Imo, and one in Kogi. The processes for that particular election has commenced in earnest. So we were busy working, but it was also important for us to allow the various election petition tribunals to commence their work and not to be seen to be interfering with the work of the various election petition tribunals. So we needed to give some space for petitioners and the respondents to ventilate their grievances before the various election petition tribunals.
Indeed, because a lot of Nigerians have so many questions. Those who are disappointed, those who are underwhelmed, those who feel very aggrieved, and those who are just wanting explanation as to what really happened. But tonight, let's take the issues one after the other. And let me begin with the fresh issues, one of which is being the fact that INEC has been non-responsive to subpoenas, to the call by the tribunal to come forward. The subpoena on the INEC chairman. INEC has been accused of not supporting and being non-responsive to demands and queries and inquiries. Why?
Well, let me make this very clear. The Commission is a constitutional body. The Commission is a public trust, and the Commission belongs to all Nigerians. The Commission has no personal or personalized interest in what is going on before the various election petition tribunals, because the courts and the tribunals are part of the electoral process, and the law has allowed every aggrieved individual the opportunity to approach any of the election petition tribunals and file a petition. And what the law also envisages the Commission to do is to present the facts and figures relating to the election it has conducted before the various election petition tribunals. So it is not true that the Commission was not being responsive. Now, as a lawyer, I know that the election petitions procedure is regulated by the Constitution, regulated by the Electoral Act, regulated by the various procedures and processes put in place by the election petitions tribunals and by the President of the Court of Appeal. Now, if you want to issue a subpoena, there are processes and procedures to follow. If you want a document to be produced, there are processes and procedures to be followed. But you do not follow a process that is not recognized by the law, and then the document is not produced, and you turn around and go and address a press conference and claim that a document has not been produced. Every political party that followed the right procedure, they followed the right process, and that followed the constitutional and legal procedures for applications made to the Commission, we provided all the documents they need to prosecute their petitions. But some of the lawyers will do things that are outside the constitutional and legal framework and then turn around and go and address the press claiming that INEC did not provide documents. We provided all the documents that petitioners required to prosecute their petitions. And in terms of subpoena, all the subpoena that we are directed to the chairman of the commission, that we are directed to resident electoral commissioners, and that we are appropriately channeled in accordance with the rules and procedures, we are answered. So we didn't disobey any subpoena, and we produced all the documents required by the various election petition tribunals.
Did INEC chairman answer to the subpoena? Did he appear before the tribunal?
Well, for instance, if a subpoena is directed to the chairman to produce a particular document, and a deputy director, an assistant director, or even a director in the commission can produce that particular document, the chairman doesn't necessarily need to appear in person to just produce a press statement issued by a national commissioner.
But the INEC chairman was subpoenaed in person to appear before the tribunal in person.
No, you know, there are different classes of subpoena. There is the subpoena that, and I want to explain in a layperson's language, there is the subpoena that is issued for you to just come and produce a document and go away. There's also a subpoena that is issued for you to come and testify on behalf of a petitioner or on behalf of a respondent. So it depends on the type of subpoena that is issued. If a subpoena is issued directed to the chairman of the commission, asking him to appear and testify, the chairman will definitely appear. But you know, the election petitions procedure is completely different. If you want to do that type of thing, there's a possibility that, one, you have to upload the witness statement of the person you want to even subpoena. Or you give the person notice of what you want the person to come and say. You don't just issue a subpoena and say, come and testify. The person must know what he or she is coming to do. So it depends on the type of subpoena.
So they didn't give you all of this information? All of these were not provided?
What I'm saying is that the ones I saw directed to the chairman of the commission required and requested him to produce certain documents. And all those documents that were requested from the chairman were produced by different directors and different staff of the commission. So we produced all the documents that were required of us to produce. Now, the flip side of it was that there were also some documents that were cloned, that were circulating in the social media, that did not emanate from the commission, which the commission had already disowned. And then they issued a subpoena and asked us to produce documents that did not emanate from us. And we said we don't have such documents, and that, in fact, we had even issued a press statement before, during that particular period, saying that such a document does not exist, and we don't have such a document. So the chairman of the commission answered all the subpoena that were issued and directed at him.
Except that he didn't appear in person like they wanted him to appear.
He doesn't necessarily need to appear in person. What the tribunal requires is that a particular document required by the petitioners or by the respondents should be produced, and that particular document was produced. It does not matter which officer of the commission produced that particular document.
Because the allegations are also that there were delay tactics within the commission, and you heard the lawyers, especially of the Labour Party, who said that there were delay tactics, there were technical ways that INEC was frustrating their effort, and that they were answering other parties in the matter, but particularly they were being frustrated by the way and manner INEC, and they have paid for it, but INEC is not responding. And it made it look so much that INEC was biased in the process.
No, INEC was not biased. Look, the election petition proceedings are conducted before the election petitions court and before the election petitions tribunals. The election petitions court is not about drama. If you want to prosecute your election petition and a subpoena has been directed at the chairman and the chairman does not answer the subpoena, you go before the court and complain. And the court definitely will use its powers to compel the chairman to appear. But you do not do the right thing, and then the moment you step out from the courtroom, you turn to the television cameras and complain about the chairman not appearing, knowing well that you have not done the right thing, knowing that you have not complied with the right procedure. The commission is a constitutional body. The commission believes in the rule of law and believes in due process. So we complied with what the court demands. But the drama that happens outside the courtroom, the Nollywood dramatization of issues, the commission is not interested in that. What the commission is interested in is what goes on within and inside the courtroom. If we have done anything wrong, definitely the justices of the Court of Appeal who sit as the election petitions court will definitely sanction the commission. But in this particular instance, you have to separate and make a distinction between what happens in the courtroom and the drama that takes place immediately after the court proceedings.
So they were sensationalizing it. That's from your point of view.
Definitely. And we realize that. You can see that the lawyers representing the commission were seasoned lawyers. Former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, A.B. Mahmood, was leading the INEC team, and he has so far conducted himself in a very dignified manner. He has not engaged in sensationalism. He has not engaged in the dramatization of the issues. Whatever is required to be responded to, he responded within the confines of the courtroom and not dramatizing issues outside the courtroom, because all those things were meant, to more or less inside the public, knowing well that, for instance, there are some members of the public that do not understand the intricacies involved in the courtroom. And I give you one example. For instance, I was watching the television one day. They stepped out from the courtroom and said, can you imagine, INEC is even objecting to certified documents issued by it. Why are they objecting? They know that within the confines of the law, within the procedures adopted by the courts, whatever objection you have, the reasons for those objections will be reserved until you file a final address. So if you object, you just say, I object to a document. For instance, if, for instance, you are contesting the validity of results issued by the commission in 4 states, and then you apply to the commission for the results in 10 states, and then you want to tender the 10, when in actual fact your grievance is in relation to results in 4 states, the commission is constitutionally, legally, and procedurally permitted to object to the tendering of the results from the other states that you did not plead. And that's exactly what is going on in the courtroom. But they dramatize and sensationalize some of these issues for people who are not versed with the procedures and processes of the courts. Mm.
Have you been able to fully upload all the results from the presidential election on the IreV portal?
You cannot fully upload all the results because there were places where elections did not take place. And I'll give you an example. Before the election, we told Nigerians that elections will take place only in 176,606 polling units, as against the number of polling units we have in the country, because in some of those polling units, we do not have registered voters. So you don't expect results from the IreV for all these other polling units where we did not deploy. That is one. Secondly, in places where there were violent disruption of the elections, you don't expect results from those polling units. And so I think that it will not be right to expect that the IreV will contain results from 176,606 polling units. That is far-fetched.
How many have you uploaded now so far?
Well, I don't have the figure offered, but the results, substantial number of the results are already on the IreV.
Why did it take INEC that long to upload the result?
Well, as a lawyer, I'm going to be slightly circumspect and slightly careful in answering some of your questions because some of the issues relating to the issue of result upload, especially for the presidential election, is pending before the election petitions court, and the commission. I think on the 3rd of July, we opened its defense around the issue of result upload and the issues surrounding it. So if you permit me, I will just try as much as possible to avoid answering that question because it's one of the major issues before the election petitions court. And I'm careful about answering.
So people are worried that there were 2 different kinds of elections that happened on one day. One part of it, there are those who are worried that results were there. The other part, results were not there. Why the discrepancy?
It's not a discrepancy. We explained to Nigerians that there were challenges with uploading the presidential election results. And I'm using the word challenges as a layman's way of trying to explain what happened. The commission said that there was a glitch in terms of uploading the presidential election results. But you know, and I've said it times without number, the uploading of the results of the election into the INEC result viewing portal was to build public trust and also for the public to follow what goes on within and around the election process. But as you know, and as I know, the law, the Electoral Act 2022, gives every registered political party the opportunity to nominate polling agents, or what in popular parlance we call party agents, to be its eyes within the various polling units. And most of the political parties did nominate their polling agents. In fact, 3 of the political parties nominated over 176,000 polling agents. One of them nominated around 134,000 polling agents. So what that means is that each political party had the primary evidence at the level of the polling unit of those results. So I find it slightly difficult to understand why almost all the political parties are relying only on results uploaded to the various polling units when they applied to the commission and the commission accredited over 176,000 polling agents for each political party.
But you made the promise that you are going to put it there.
Yes.
You were the one who said IreV is going to work.
Yes.
It's worked in Osun, it worked in Ondo, and you said, I mean Ekiti rather, and you said it's going to work. But you reneged on your promise.
No.
Or you failed on your promise.
No, nobody has said that it did not work. The result, you said it yourself, the results for the senatorial election was uploaded. That of the House of Representatives election was uploaded. Governorship election was uploaded. State assembly elections were uploaded. And it is only in the uploading of the presidential election results that we had a glitch. And we explained to Nigerians that this was exactly what happened. So it is not...
No, you have not explained to Nigerians what happened.
We did.
No, what did you say happened?
We said there was a glitch in terms of uploading of the presidential election results.
What's the nature of the glitch?
You know...
So was it an issue of network or hosts issues, or what exactly is it? Is it a hardware problem, or the domain where you had your server or your porter domicile that was the problem?
You see, if you drag me into a digital and technological issue, I will get lost because I am basically and fundamentally a lawyer. So as far as I'm concerned, there were challenges with uploading of the presidential election results. That issue of uploading, whether it was a hardware issue, whether it was a software matter, is already before the presidential election petition court, and I will not go into that. Moreover, my knowledge of technology is very, very limited. So if you drag me into technological related issues, I will just get lost in the process.
So this is it. It might not be your expertise.
Yes.
But because this is an engagement that you had with Nigeria, a promise you made to Nigerians, this is INEC, the destiny of Nigerians and the Nigerian people's hopes and aspirations about a process which they believe INEC was going to be transparent and come straight to them. So if there was somebody who was responsible who failed in his duties, or if it was a machine problem or it's a human error, what failed? Is it human or machine?
Well, as an individual, I will have an opportunity of understanding the intricacies of what happened the moment we begin our own internal review process. And also the moment we also begin the external review process.
So INEC does not know now what really happened?
I've told you what I know.
No, the point is, sir,
yes.
And I know, if they take light in this building right now, it could be a generator or from the source, or solar. There are possible 3 ways by which we can generate power in this room right now. If they take light from the source, which is NEPA or PHCN, we put on our generator. If our solar fails, these are possible 3 ways. I'm not in that area, but I could tell you that power will be restored because our engineers are putting on the generator. So it could be that our engineer had gone to have dinner somewhere else, and that was why the gap of the minute in which they took light and we couldn't restore it. So that's what I'm asking. In layman terms, was it a human error or a machine error?
Well, all I know is that there was a glitch. there were challenges with uploading of the presidential election result. That is all from a layman's point of view that I can explain.
So nobody has been held accountable within INEC?
It's not issue of holding anybody accountable.
What failed? There were monies, millions of naira, Nigerian taxpayers' money that have been entrusted in the hands of INEC to prosecute this election. A major part of it failed, and INEC described it as a glitch. So explain to Nigerians if it's human or machine. So that you don't, I know what you're trying to run away from.
I'm not running away.
You don't want to get into the arena of what the tribunal is prosecuting right now, but just tell Nigerians it was human, it was machine. No. So Nigerians can then hold their breath and wait to when the defense of INEC comes.
No. Let me explain something to you. When you are using the word failure, you are using the word failure in a very generic sense, and that is not right. Now, that machine you are talking about has three components and three elements. When we were doing the voters registration process, we use that particular machine for purposes of voters registration. When we are doing voter accreditation, we use it for voter accreditation. And then after election, we also use the same machine for result upload. So it is only one component of result upload that we are talking about. So the machine has not failed. The machine was used successfully in terms of voters registration. The machine was also used successfully in terms of voter accreditation. And the machine was also used successfully in terms of result upload. We are only talking of result upload for the presidential election only. So it is not true, and it is not right, and it's not correct to insinuate, even remotely, that taxpayers' money was wasted and the machine did not work. No, the machine worked optimally.
I look at it in this way,
yes.
Mr. Okoye. If you are to buy a vehicle, and what you are concerned about is you paid for the vehicle and the vehicle is delivered to you. But when they give you a story that on the way from Mina, in between Mina and Abuja, the vehicle break down and something happened, you don't want to hear the story. What you want is what you paid for to be delivered to you. Nigerians paid for an excellent election. And midway, something happened when you promised them that results are going to be uploaded on IreV as a transparent process to be able to monitor and circumvent any kind of fraudulent activities on the exercise. But then it happened on 2 of the 3 elections. On 1, it did not happen. So that means that Beavers worked, but where you're supposed to upload it in the cloud or in one machine, it did not come, and it did not come in 1 of the elections out of the 3. The Nigerians are beginning to worry. If it was a human effort to hold on to that result.
Let me give you an example. I boarded a plane coming from Anambra at the Anambra airport. All of us had already boarded the plane. And then suddenly, the pilot said that there was a problem with the computer of the aircraft and that he had called Lagos and that Lagos has asked him to shut down the plane and restart it. And he told us that what he's doing is akin to a computer, to our mobile phones hanging, and then you switch it off and put it on again. So even in aeroplanes, sometimes you experience that type of challenge. I have seen, you can buy a vehicle today and it will have a problem.
No doubt.
I've seen vehicles that were recalled to the factory.
Mr. Okoye, do you realize that Nigerians are very reasonable people?
Oh, definitely,
they can understand with you if you have a problem. Genuinely, they will understand. This is not the first time INEC has had logistics problem. And Nigerians will understand, you are going to postpone the election. We'll wait the next 2 weeks when you want to hold it. But when you have raised their hopes and you say, this is going to work, and did not work, don't you think that they have the right to ask, especially when the only reason why people pay tax is to see the effort of that tax being used. So if you say you cannot tell us specifically what went wrong, and I'd like to ask you whether it was human or machine error, but you say you are not able to tell us. But is it the same process if it did not work well for the presidential election? Is it the same one you're using for the 3 elections you're planning for? Or you've changed it?
No. You agreed that in terms of result upload, that it worked for the senatorial election, it worked for the House of Representative elections, it worked for the governorship election, and it worked for the State Assembly election. So in 4 out of 5, it worked well. So it will not be correct to say that, oh, the issue of using the beavers for a result upload failed. No. So what we are going to do is that since from the 4th of July, we are going to begin our own internal review with our resident electoral commissioners. And then thereafter, the chairman of the commission will outline the dates and the processes and procedures for the other reviews involving our electoral officers, involving collation officers, involving collation and returning officers, involving selected presiding officers, and also involving the external stakeholders, political parties, civil society groups and organizations, and others. All these things will be put in a basket, and we will have a very clear understanding, especially from the experts, on what exactly went wrong.
Because, I mean, as the CEO of the commission, the INEC chairman, heads are not rolling in the IT department, where billions of naira have been committed into their hands. I mean, for that standard of election, this is not a governorship election, not a standalone election. This was the big stage. And something as huge as that embarrassed the nation, embarrassed the commission. Well, and heads are not rolling. Nobody is being punished.
No. You don't begin punishment on the basis of emotion and also on the basis of assumption. You must begin punishment on the basis of clear understanding of what has transpired.
So, but election held since February.
And that,
Mr. Okoye,
and that clear
we are in June right now. We are entering into July.
That is true.
If it was a private sector interest, would you have waited this long to find out what happened?
The commission is not a private sector interest.
Your organization would have collapsed on itself.
The commission
if you have not taken it. So INEC has not really taken any steps since then.
It's not true.
Does the commission need the nation's trust in the way and manner it carried out its work?
Exactly, and that is why we are going to begin our own internal review process. And for this presidential election, for the 2023 general election, the commission deployed over 1.5 million ad hoc staff. Over 1.5 million.
But just okay, we're not talking about ad hoc staff. We're talking about your server, your machine that deployed, that hosts the whatever. The beavers wasn't the problem. It was where the results are that Nigerians could view. That was the bone of contention. And so there are people who were in charge. There are people who were manning it.
Yes.
What did you tell them? You were in the situation room. Did you scold them? Did you query them? Did you suspend anybody?
No. I cannot disclose to you what happened in the situation room when this issue arose. When this issue arose, those of us who are not vast in technology tried to understand what was going on. And we were assured that it will be rectified in a short while. And then
it went on and on.
Things spilled out of hand and so on and so forth.
For several weeks.
Not for several weeks. And we had to issue a statement. So that, for me, is what I know as at now.
Okay.
The moment we conclude our internal review, we will be in a position to have a holistic understanding of what transpired. And then if sanctions have to be applied, if heads have to roll, definitely that will be done.
Let me take you quickly away. There are issues in Sokoto, Adamawa State, and you, Commission, come out in what some Nigerians applauded, that, look, for a moment, INEC is calling out those who are trying to subvert the process. You add a question mark on the activities of the Sokoto REC, on the Adamawa REC. What is the position now? Where is the issue of the Adamawa REC and the Sokoto REC?
Well, in terms of the issue of the Adamawa REC, you are aware that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria suspended him before he exited office. And you're also aware that the Nigerian police force invited him to come and offer explanation relating to what has happened. I am aware that the police has concluded this investigation, and I'm aware that in the next few weeks, Nigerians will be informed of what has happened and what will happen. Yes.
INEC is one of the complainants, or is it?
No, under the law, it is the responsibility under the law, it is the responsibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission to prosecute him if a prima facie case has been made out against him.
Do you have enough to prosecute the matter?
Yes.
Has that been passed on to the INEC?
It's a possibility.
Has it been passed on? I mean, is that a yes or no?
It's a possibility.
No, possibility is whether or not has the investigation report been passed on to INEC.
You know, you see, there has been some level of interface between the Nigerian police force and the Independent National Electoral Commission. And in some of the processes leading to the investigation, the commission was involved in some of those processes and procedures. And I'm aware that that very soon the commission will take action relating to the Adamawa.
Yes. What about the Sokoto Rec and other people? You said some senior staff of INEC are found wanting in their duties. Are we open to hear some disciplinary action on these persons? Maybe administrative.
You know, it's the resident electoral commissioner for Sokoto State and also the resident electoral commissioner for Abia State are not on their duty posts as at now. Very soon, the commission will take a position relating to what happens to them. And I'm sure that the moment the commission takes a position, it will be communicated to Nigerians. So the issue around the Sokoto Rec and the issue around the Abia Rec are completely different from issues surrounding the resident electoral commissioner for Adamawa State. So they are completely different. But in terms of these two resident electoral commissioners, very soon the commission will take a position and then Nigerians will be informed of the position of the commission.
Let me allow you to respond to what the European Union said. 6 areas they highlighted. One of it was actually very indicting. EU said INEC lacked efficient planning and transparency during critical stages of the electoral process. How do you react to that?
Well, that's a very general statement. But in terms of transparency, this particular commission has been very, very transparent. We carried all the critical stakeholders along throughout the planning process for the 2023 general election. The time we released the voters register, and even when we were compiling the voters register, we engaged all the critical stakeholders. When we converted some of our voting points and voting point settlements into full-fledged polling units, we carried almost all the stakeholders along. The moment we were planning for the elections, we carried all the stakeholders along. So we were very, very transparent in terms of our engagement with the critical stakeholders. And we planned, and we also planned well. And let me make this point, that one, the European Union, if you look at their statement, they made it very clear that the election was conducted in an environment that was volatile and challenging. And that environment entailed, one, that there were security challenges in so many parts of the country. Two, that some of INEC facilities were burned down, and we had to repair those facilities in a very emergency fashion. Three, there were also challenges relating to the freight situation in the country, relating to the Naira redesign, and also relating to some of the transport companies that we engaged, reneging on the contracts they entered into with the commission. So you have to look at this particular contest in analyzing whether the commission performed well or did not perform well during the 2023 general election.
I'd like us to anchor on this note. I'm not the one to pass a judgment on an organization that has hundreds of people working in it. But isn't it obvious, Mr. Okoye, that INEC has bad eggs in it? And would you say that your efforts were being messed up or being frustrated by some of these bad eggs?
Well, if you are talking about the commission, I need you to make a separation. There are the permanent staff of the commission who work for the commission, and then there are the ad hoc staff that the commission recruits in order to conduct this election. Part of those ad hoc staff we recruit are youth corps members, young men and women. Secondly, we also recruit students of federal tertiary institutions in their penultimate year. We also recruit staff of federal agencies, commissions, and parastatals who serve as supervisory presiding officers, and we also recruit lecturers from federal tertiary institutions who collate results and also serve.
But were there are there bad eggs? Do you regret recruiting some of these people based on their conduct?
I believe that those who performed well far outweigh the few people that betrayed the trust of the Nigerian people and also betrayed their oath.
We need to go now, Mr. Okoye. If you can look into the camera and promise Nigerians, we have 3 elections coming. There's a trust deficit in your organization. What trust more can Nigerian put in INEC going forward? Can we trust INEC? Can we trust you that you will say something and stand by it?
Well, our mandate has been defined by the Constitution and by the law. And we, as an election management body, are going to set in motion the processes and procedures for the conduct of a good election in these 3 states. But you must also understand and realize that the conduct of election is a multi-stakeholder venture. It involves the commission, it involves the security agencies, it involves the political parties, it involves the media, it involves civil society groups.
Oh, you at INEC, that's what we are talking about. Do you promise Nigerians that you will stand by what you promised them, that you will not underperform and under-deliver?
No, we are going to perform, and we are going to perform optimally.
All right.
Yes.
But you under-delivered in 2023.
No,
Do you agree?
No. The positives arising from the 2023 general election far outweighs.
You were overwhelmed by some of the circumstances.
No. There were just few challenges with the election. But in terms of performance, the commission performed well, and we are proud of our performance.
Mr. Festus Okoye, thank you so much indeed. Nigerians have their eyes on the commission, and we're hoping that you will get your trust back and be able to work again with Nigerians with your shoulder high and your heads up. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you.
That's in my mind, which I would like you to talk about. Yesterday we saw a video of a very long convoy, Mr. President, and we know that's one of the things you usually preach against. I don't know how you felt when you saw that video. I don't know if you have seen it, sir.
I wasn't opportune to see the video.
It consisted of 124 cars.
I wasn't opportune to see it. You are just telling me. But let me tell you what I've always said. The present Nigeria requires that all those who serve and lead must do so by example. The behavior and their public conduct must be a consonance with what the society requires today. We cannot continue to preach for the people to sacrifice without sacrificing. We must not, the sacrifice must not start from the leaders. Visibly, measurably, on all sides. Because the people are suffering. And we must now be at the forefront of the suffering. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that the time has come for us to tell the present president and those who superintend over our country that this is not the time for populism. This is not the time to dance the music or the tune played by the IMF, the World Bank, and indeed the Bretton Woods associations, organizations. This is the time to put Nigeria first. And that's the position of the civil society. That's the position of the Action Committee, and that's the position of the Country First movement that I represent. The time has come to think about how we'll fix our country and make leadership responsible and responsive to our people. And look at the papers and look at the figures and look at how these things work. Let me give you a practical instance. The World Bank would say what it would say. The IMF would say its own. But have you asked yourself, the policy on removal of subsidy, and then you ask yourself, a few months ago, they told us about 65 million liters of fuel were consumed daily in Nigeria. And then just a few days ago, they said, oh, it has come down to 40 million. So the 25 million liters, how did it happen? What happened? Who are those who collected money on those subsidy monies on those liters? And where are we as a nation? And what is the policy of government to recover these funds? I think that unfortunately and unfairly, those who superintend this country have consistently impoverished the people and enriched the political operators. Unfortunately, albeit consistently, they have subsidized the lives of the rich and the noble rich and avoided making better the lives of the Nigerian people. And I want to say, very importantly, Dr. Ruben, very importantly, Ayo, that we're at that point in our historicity where we must tell those who superintend over this country that the office of a citizen of a Federal Republic of Nigeria is the #1 office, not the office of the president. The citizens come first. The president comes second. the Senate President, the Vice President and Senate President come after them. You know, the time has come for us to put a primacy on how leadership addresses the challenge of the masses of our country. Save and except that is done, our search for the new republic, our search for responsible and responsive leadership, our search for a country that works will be like the wait for Godot.
This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.